As a gamer who is super intrigued by both audio and video, products like the Fifine AM8 really gets me pumped. Especially since whenever Ashley and I started content creation, we really didn't know much about how to get started, and we really didn't have the funds to get started either. Luckily, this microphone comes in at only $60, and that is a steal for how good this thing sounds. Now, I do want to mention that I'm not an audio professional. I don't have an audio engineering license or anything like that. Ashley and I do own our own wedding photography and videography business where I operate as the videographer, and through that I've learned a lot about audio, and I really have come to appreciate it. On top of that, I've really come to enjoy working and tweaking on our audio here at OurRadiantGaming. I really am a perfectionist when it comes to it, so I absolutely love learning more about it and finding great products that help me do just that. With that out of the way, one thing I do want to mention that I have learned in the around 4 years I've been doing videography is that audio is the most important part of video, whether you're doing wedding videography or whether you're doing something like this, a gaming YouTube channel. And what I mean by that is you could probably sit and watch a video that has mediocre video quality, but if the audio sounds good, you can sit through and not really pay attention to how good the video is. On the other hand, if the video quality is pristine and absolutely amazing, but the audio sounds like a potato, more than likely you're going to click off the video. And here in the gaming world, I'm sure that you've watched tons of YouTubers that just use a webcam for their video, but their audio sounds great, and you don't even really pay attention to what kind of camera they're using whenever they do make their videos. And that's why I think this Fifine AM8 is such a good product, because if you're looking to get into creating a gaming YouTube channel, a gaming podcast, just anything that involves audio, $60 is really, really cheap in this world, I promise. And I'm not going to sit here and act like this is the greatest mic that ever hit planet Earth, because the fact is it's not, but it is amazing for $60. It is a fantastic mic for that price. Many mics that have the same features and quality as this mic run around $100 to $150 up into the $200 range. Now, Fifine did reach out to me and did send me this microphone to give an honest review of it, and that's what I'm going to do, is give you an honest review of this microphone. Now, the box that this mic comes in immediately makes you forget that it's $60. It's packaged very well. The outside definitely does not look cheap, and they do a great job with the wow factor of this microphone. When you open it, it's nice to see that they include the stand for you to mount this mic in the case that you don't have a boom arm. And speaking of the boom arm, this thing comes complete with a yoke attached to it already, so if in the future you do decide to get a boom arm, you can attach it to this mic with ease. The website states that it does have a 3/8 and 5/8 thread for you to use in case your boom arm has one or the other. Now, I don't personally have a boom arm, so I can't test that out and show you guys, but I do own other products that feature both size threads in one thread, and it's pretty amazing, and it's nice to see that this yoke includes that. Many mics don't include this level of quality, and that's why it blows my mind that it is only $60. And beyond the yoke, the mic itself doesn't feel insanely cheap either. It is made out of plastic, so it doesn't feel like heavy duty metal, and I've seen some people complaining about how plasticky it feels, but honestly, I don't have a problem with it. It's a $60 microphone, and it feels way better than a $60 microphone. It's not as strong and durable feeling as something like the Shure SM7B, but that's because that microphone is around 5 times as much as this one. The slip cover on the top of the mic does come off a little easy, but that's really a minor complaint, and you'll more than likely never take it off. You have the adjustable knobs for mic gain, as well as the audio monitoring, as well as the RGB button for the RGB strip at the bottom here. You can't have a gaming microphone without RGB, can you? The back features a touch to mute button that lights up, which comes in very handy if you're streaming and need to sneeze or cough or something. I have done that a lot. And at the bottom, you have your hook in for the USB-C, which the cable is included. The audio monitoring plug, the cable for that is not included. And the XLR input, where the cable is also not included. And honestly, that's incredible that this is both a USB microphone as well as an XLR microphone. Most microphones at this price range are just simply a USB microphone, but this one is both. I do wish that they would have included the XLR cable, but I totally get why they didn't. This is a budget microphone. Most people will be using it for USB input, but in the case that you do want to upgrade and get an audio interface in the future, you can do that with this microphone and buy an XLR cable, which in the grand scheme of things aren't that expensive. This is also a great time to mention that when plugged into the XLR cable, this does not allow for RGB. So if you're wanting the RGB, hooked into your audio interface, it won't work. It does have to be plugged into USB to your PC in order for the RGB to light up, as well as the knobs and the touch to mute. The reason they do this is because they expect your audio interface to be able to do all these things for you, because most of the time the audio interface is way better than what you can do on the microphone alone. The microphone does have a cardioid pattern and is a dynamic mic capsule, which just means you have to talk into the top for it to pick you up correctly. And because of that, it means it doesn't pick up as many sounds outside of the room other than where you're directly talking into it. This is exactly what mics like the Shure SM7B are. They have that dynamic pattern where you have to speak in through the top for it to pick you up. And I mean, this is regarded as one of the best microphones of all time. And the reason this is such a big deal for gamers is because most of the time you're here playing on your mouse and keyboard, playing with your controller, your hands are behind the microphone, and since your voice is going in through the top, it won't pick up your keyboard or your controller clicks as much. It's really great in that aspect, and I think that's what makes this mic so huge for gamers. It is important to note though that you have to get used to talking directly into the mic, realizing where it does pick up your voice, as if you start talking away from the mic, it will not pick your voice up as much as if you're talking directly into it. And that's something that you'll get used to, something that these mics are designed for, and honestly, I prefer this because I like being grounded, knowing where I am, especially when I'm recording YouTube videos. This mic is able to be plugged into PC, Mac, as well as PlayStation, but I'm not going to go over that because I'm not a PlayStation channel, I'm a Nintendo channel, and today we're talking about how you can use this mic for podcasting or starting a YouTube channel, not for plugging into PlayStation, playing games with your friends. And I've already mentioned how good the sound quality is on this microphone. This is the microphone I've actually been using this whole video, so if you've stayed, more than likely you've enjoyed the audio enough to be like, hey, that sounds pretty good. I'm not going to immediately click off. And when Fifine did reach out to me, they said, hey, you should test this microphone out against some of your other microphones. And to me, that just screamed confidence. I have tons of other microphones that are vastly different and honestly that are more expensive than this microphone. So for them to reach out and say, hey, test our $60 microphone against any other mics you have just to see how it sounds. And the mics I do have, we have collected from doing wedding videography to the stream Ashley and I first started when we very first started content creation, to stuff like the Shure SM7B that we got later on in our content creation. And before I show you what this microphone sounds like compared to the other microphones I have, I just want to mention that I have not edited these sounds at all in post. This is what the mics sound like straight from, their source. The only thing I've done is adjusted the volume to all be around -3 dB, just so it all sounds pretty even. Also did want to mention that the recording for both this video as well as the test I did was with the Fifine with the XLR cable, not with the USB cable. With that out of the way, let's listen to what they all sound like. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. And guys, like I said, all of these mics were mics that you could use to create a YouTube video or even podcast. And it's clear that the Shure SM7B does take the cake in this test. That mic is literally just amazing. It is a legendary mic. That's actually what they describe it as on their website. And it's also the most expensive of these by far. So it's no surprise that it did win. But what shocked me so much was how well the Fifine AM8 did stand up compared to the competitors. I think this mic, compared to the mics that I do have, is most closely related to the Hyper X Quadcast. And I think that's because both of these mics were created with gamers in mind. The Hyper X Quadcast is around $130, has super cool RGB in the new version, although the version we have is the older version and it only has red, but it is a sole USB mic. It does not have an XLR port. And for that reason, honestly, the Fifine sounds just as good, if not better, and it has way more features than the Hyper X does. And because of the design and just how good the Fifine does sound, it sounds just like a cheaper version of the Shure SM7B, which is no derogatory statement at all. That is an amazing thing. So for this to be a $60 version of, say, the Shure SM7B, dare I say, I think it's an amazing steal for a mic this good. Now, the Cloudlifter you've seen mentioned in that video is this actual physical device. It is a Cloudlifter, that's the name of it, and it does just that. It lifts your voice, adds some character to your voice, ups the gain just a little bit, and makes you sound just all around better. While it may be unrealistic for you to have a Cloudlifter while using this mic, since this is a budget mic, the Cloudlifter is around double the price of this mic. I could not help my curiosity knowing what it would sound like with this mic into the Cloudlifter, and it sounds really, really, really good. And I do want to mention that it may have been a closer race between the Hyper X as well as the Fifine AM8 if I had just plugged the AM8 into a USB into my computer as opposed to plugging it into an XLR through the interface. But I mean, the Fifine does include the XLR cable while the Hyper X doesn't, so advantage Fifine, and honestly, I think it sounds just as good, if not better. And speaking of the USB side of this mic, let's hop over to the computer and see what it sounds like over there. And guys, I'm here now at my PC with this mic plugged into the USB, and it is super simple. I use OBS Studio whenever Ashley and I stream. That's what we use. It is just absolutely incredible, a free program, so try it out if you do plan on streaming. All I did was plug this microphone in with the USB cable to my PC, and it immediately recognized it. I had to go into the settings and set it that I wanted the Fifine microphone to be the one I used. You just adjust the settings on the front just to get it to the volume that you like. Maybe if you talk a little lower, if you talk a little louder, you don't want to bust people's eardrums out, but you also want to make sure that they can hear you. It is really cool to be able to see the RGB on this microphone now that it is plugged into the PC. I love that part. I also love the fact that I can touch to mute now, and also the way that it's designed, it's set up really perfectly. Like my mouth feels like I'm directly speaking into the top of it. So if I was sitting here playing games, I'm able to just, be able to talk naturally. I'm going to show you guys what it would sound like if I was back here playing mouse and keyboard, or if I was playing with a controller in the background. Obviously, you're going to be able to hear a little bit, but hopefully where this is the type of mic that it is, where you speak through the top, you won't be able to hear it as well. So this is me just hitting some buttons on my mouse and keyboard. And obviously that's probably a little dramatized. It's different. I'm not actually playing a game. I'm just clicking buttons and clicking the mouse. Now I'm going to use my PowerA Nintendo Switch controller in the back, and it's pretty close to the mic, so just keep that in mind. One thing I will say that I'm not really a huge fan of now that I do have it plugged into my PC is the way that the cable is set up, where it goes in directly at the bottom. I feel like it's hard for me to get to the volume controls in the front because it kind of has to be at a 45-degree angle the way the yoke is set up. Once you get your settings down the first time, it probably won't matter as much because you won't be using them as much, but it is kind of odd because you can't really move it forward. I will also say that if you guys plan on co-streaming in the same physical location like Ashley and I did when we first started streaming, this mic probably wouldn't be your best option, as two people really couldn't be able to talk into the top of the mic at the same time. In that case, I would recommend something like the Hyper X Quadcast because it is able to pick up a wider range as opposed to this one. But in the case that you are solo, I do recommend this mic. It's absolutely incredible. I'm, like I said, a huge fan of the dynamic mics. I do love the RGB on this mic. As I said, the button that you click to change it is very seamless. It changes between whatever color you want for your setup, or if you want all the colors to just scroll through continuously. The touch to mute is also very simple. You just click it, and the mic is muted just like that. It gives you the red indicator whenever you are talking to let you know that, hey, nobody can hear you because it's muted, and green when it is live. Overall, I'm very impressed with this microphone. I think it is really a steal for $60. It sounds great to me, and I'm very picky over audio. I'll be honest, I fully did not expect it to sound this good at this price point, but I think it's amazing. If you're looking to start a YouTube channel, if you're looking to start a podcast, if you're looking to just get into content creation and you don't have as much money to get started, because I know it is expensive, this mic is a great option. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. The links for this microphone as well as the other ones I mentioned in this video will be in the description below, so be sure to check that out if you guys are looking to get a microphone. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button. Also subscribe so you don't miss more videos like this, as well as some awesome Nintendo content here at OurRadiantGaming. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have an amazing day, and God bless.